Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Breakfast at Ruby's. Today I'm joined by RuinCrown and Smalzsy. As you can see, if you can't see, it means that you're probably listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other podcast services out there. But we actually film these every single week on twitch.tv/Project Ruby. So you get to ask some questions. You get to see all the behind the scenes shenanigans that take place in here. And then everyone else gets it 24 hours later, which we love to see. But let's get into some introductions for the folks out there who may not know you. So let's start with Ruin to my left. Hey.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is RuinCrown. I'm a variety streamer here on Twitch. We just have a clowning old time over on my channel. Right now, we're playing some Final Fantasy and some Pokemon, but you could catch us playing anything. Maybe some Fall Guys, DBD, because I have to keep my gay card on Twitch. I can't lose that. But primarily story-driven games because we like to read, and she's got the voice. Okay.
Yes. The library is always open, girl. She needs to read. She needs to read. Mm-hmm. Factual. Mm-hmm. Please go follow Ruin. His link is in the description of this. It will be in the chat as well as we speak. But to my right, we have Smalzsy. Hey.
Hi. How you doing?
Yes. Who are you? What do you do? What are you all about, honey?
Oh, who am I? Part-time streamer, full-time clown, professional garden gnome, and
not the garden gnome. No. I was like, I know where this is going. This is what I usually hear, when someone new comes into the stream.
Shut up a little.
She took a sharp left turn, and all of a sudden, we're all done. Go ahead, miss. No. What do you do? What do you do before we cut the cameras?
I'm a streamer on Twitch at twitch.tv/Smalzsy. I stream a variety of games, a lot of Animal Crossing. If that's your thing, come for that. If it's not, come for the bad accent and clownery.
Not the bad accent. You take that back now.
He's really not Australian. He's actually from the southernmost part of Texas. Many people don't know that.
Yeah, fun fact.
This is a fun fact. Pod now.
The more you know. The more you know.
The more you know. Find out how that happened when you go to Smalzsy on Twitch.
Yes. Twitch.tv/Smalzsy and find out his origin story, girl. We love that.
We up next week.
In this special 3-part Twitch series.
The 3-part Twitch exclusive.
Kotaku, run the article, girl. Let's get it. Get into it. And of course, there's always me every week because we're having breakfast at Ruby's. Besides this show, I play video games, I sing every once in a while, I have a YouTube channel, also at Project Ruby. It's a good old time, we love to see it, and I'm also partnered with grindingcoffee.co. They're a Black and queer owned coffee business. They have some amazing things in their library, in their store. It's amazing. They have launched a subscription service right now where you can get 5% off and you can get your coffee daily, weekly, or monthly. And you can get 13% additional discount by using Project Ruby at discount. So get your coupon on. Coupon on. That's a hard one to say. That's a difficult.
Get your coupon on.
Yes. So thank you so much, grindingcoffee.co, for partnering up with your local clown up in here. But speaking of clownery and shenanigans and gay indecisiveness, Netflix is currently testing a shuffle button in their service. So Netflix is basically, they have a new button that will randomly select a movie or a TV show based on your viewing history, on your preferences and playlists. A spokesperson from Netflix told CNN Business that we're always looking for better ways to connect members with shows and films that they will love. We run these tests in different countries and for different periods of time and only make them broadly available if people find them useful. So, first of all, did y'all did y'all see that on your Netflix thing? Did that pop up for you specifically? Because I haven't seen that.
Yeah. I unfortunately was not a beta tester, so
Me neither.
I did not get that. I
No.
did not get it.
Yeah, we were not fortunate enough to participate in this. But what do you think of this idea of a shuffle button being there? Are you usually very indecisive when it comes to your shows, and you find this to be something that would be useful to you, or do you know what you want when you go into Netflix and you just go straight for it? We can start with Ruin with that.
I don't. When I watch Netflix, I'm normally watching it with my partner, and we kind of decide on things together. I don't really like watch Netflix like by myself, so I personally do not think that this would be useful. It's kind of like when Apple made the iPod Shuffle, and you couldn't see what song was coming up next, but you knew you had a certain amount, or a certain song, somewhere in there, and you're just pressing the button to get to what you really want. So I don't think it's going to be useful. I mean, there have been nights that I sit there and I click through, and I'm trying to find something. I eventually find something, so maybe. But most of the time, I don't think I really even decide on anything. And I just go to Amazon or I go to YouTube and I watch, endless meme videos. Um, but
Valid.
I think this would definitely be a way for them to promote their own content
Hmm.
to similar things that you watch. So the shows that maybe not will not be normally on Netflix, like I think those would kind of get pushed to the side, and they would push their content that would be very similar to it. Um, but yeah, I don't know. No, I don't. I would not use it personally.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
For me, as a single indecisive gay, this is what I want. This is what I need because I am that person. There is such a thing. I don't know the scientific term for it because guess what? I didn't go to school for science. But there is such a thing as like getting overwhelmed by having a lot of choices. Sorry, I almost just made Ruin choke to death.
I'm gonna school for science.
But there is such a thing as like having so many choices that you get physically and mentally like paralyzed and you can't choose, so you just don't watch anything at all. I don't know the term for it, but there is such a thing as that. And to me, it happens constantly. I keep adding things to my list, but I never know when I'm gonna watch it. I don't know what to watch next, and I just end up not watching anything and canceling my Netflix subscription because it's been a while and I haven't seen anything, and I just add stuff to my list and I get excited about things and I just don't watch any of it. So I think for me, it could be really nice to just go on Netflix and be like, you know what? Just choose something for me. And I think it would depend on how the feature works. Like if you could go into the settings and choose just stuff from your list, for example, I think that could be good. Um, because I don't know, I don't trust their algorithm fully. And what I mean by that is like, have y'all ever scrolled through Netflix and then they are like lighthearted comedies and they just put like a drama in there or a horror movie in there and they just completely mess it up? So I wouldn't necessarily trust their algorithm to randomly give me something that they think I will like. But I think I would be on board if I went to the settings and I was like, just choose something from my list, and if I put it in there, it's because I want to watch this eventually. So just play something for me. I don't know. But yeah, what do you think, Smalzsy? Do you think this is something you would use, or you could not relate whatsoever?
I could never. And the thing is, like, I don't trust Shuffle. I don't trust Shuffle. Like, here's my thing. Like,
Valid.
Spotify, if I get to the end of a playlist and it starts shuffling, I am like, what is this? What is this? I am the pickiest person, and I could if it was a list, that I had curated and been like, yes, I want to watch this in the future.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe, but I'm not really one to watch stuff on my own. I'm like, oh, this is a lot of dedication, a lot of things. Like, I will like look at Netflix, I will open it up and be like, I don't know what to start, I don't know where to go with it. I close it, I open Twitch or YouTube. Exactly.
Yeah.
That like, I I don't know. It might be great for my parents because they are always finding the most bizarre shows. I don't know where they get them. I walk out and I see them watching Netflix. I'm like, what is this? Where did you find this?
Was
Like,
this even on Netflix?
like, what is this? Like, and like I sit there and I watch it. I'm like, I don't know how you managed to find this. There is literally a million other series that you could watch, but yeah, I couldn't do it. I'm too
Yeah.
picky, and I don't trust it. I don't trust it.
Very valid. Yes.
When I'm driving in my car, like if my phone is connected to Bluetooth and I don't have anything playing and I just press play on my car, like it will just shuffle my music. Girl, I will go through about 25 songs before I decide on something. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to hear Wicked. I don't want to hear Lady Gaga right now. Like there's just something I really want to hear. And of course, like I can't look at my phone while I'm driving, so I can't find it. But like, damn girl, like I agree with Smalzsy. You can't trust shuffle. You really can't. And honestly, to be perfectly honest, I kind of feel like Netflix is trying to become like a regular TV channel.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a channel with good content. It's kind
Ooh,
of like Lifetime or TLC. I mean, they put out some great shows.
she
They have
spilled
good
your
content
honor.
out there. Sponsorship lost.
No
They
longer.
have good content, but like and some of it just isn't good. It's like a Lifetime movie, where they do their Christmas movies, they do the Valentine's movies, they do their Halloween, they do, their summer, they go through all of these TV seasons and it's just not good. And it's very similar to TLC, how they have basically exploited the cast of 90 Day Fiance, where they have like before the 90 days, after the 90 days. They have the show during the 90 days. I think there's like an after the 90 days. Like they have made so
Which
many
goes against the
expansions.
purpose of the 90 days. Just by the way.
Exactly. Exactly. Like it just the whole point of the show was to like get that experience, but now it's like everything beyond that, and I feel bad for some of the cast members because they go through absolute hell on that show, and it's like so many embarrassing moments. Like Ed, probably one of the most famous people, Ed and Rose, like two of the like one of the couples from that show, like they became a sensation. Their sounds of them were on TikTok, memes and all this stuff, but like they basically were exploited. And I mean, you can sit there and say, yeah, they signed up for that, but I mean, at what point does it stop? Even during quarantine, during the pandemic, they were making some of them make content. They sent them phones and probably had them on plans and like, you have to make content for us. So, I don't know. It just sometimes Netflix for me is just honestly a dumping ground of shows that they're like someone has like a decent idea and they're like, "Oh yeah." It's like the episode of South Park where Cartman is a robot and they go to Florida and the Warner Brothers or whatever, like they keep giving him $100 every movie idea he spits out, and he makes like 2,000 movie idea. Wow, y'all don't really know that?
Over my head, girl.
Really?
It's fine.
No idea.
I'm not gonna go and explaining it, but yeah, like that to me that's what Netflix is. Like someone has a decent idea, they take it and they
Yeah.
run with it, and it's not a good idea.
No, I get you. I think in other I think outside of the U.S. there is a little bit more variety, and I think there's better shows on Netflix from what I understand, because sometimes people from the US announce something on Twitter like, "Oh my god, this thing is on Netflix." And I'm like, "It's been on Netflix here for the longest time, girl." So like, I think it's just because the US has so many different streaming services that Netflix sometimes may get like sometimes the majority of like just Netflix originals. And for me at least, like they recently added a bunch of like Studio Ghibli stuff on there, which I know it's on Hulu in the US, so it's like it depends on your region, but they have a ton of anime here, they have a ton of TV shows. They added like the full like library of Drag Race. They even added the Celebrity Drag Race on there. So like,
Oh, wow.
yeah, there's like a bunch of stuff on at least the Portuguese one. I think it's probably different depending on your region. But one thing that I also saw was apparently there's another new streaming service in the US for NBC, and they have I guess one of the features is like they just have stuff playing like 24/7. Almost as if you're like, if it's a regular TV like TV channel and you just put it on and like something random is on, like a random episode of a random show, and I guess if you click through it, you can jump in and watch the full season if you want to, or if you're like curious and you just want something in the background, they're just gonna have something random playing in the background. You can be like, oh, hold on, I like that episode, let me watch the full season. So I think it depends on what you're looking for, but again, I'm a super indecisive gay. Like, Spotify Shuffle always is on. Will I sometimes skip 3 tracks and remove a couple of them from my liked list so that they don't show up on my shuffle? Maybe so. But a lot of the times I do have the shuffle on just because I'm very indecisive, and I just have so many things that I don't even know what sometimes to start with. Or sometimes I do that thing where I pick a song that I want to listen to and I just let Spotify play the random songs that they usually do afterwards. It depends on the mood that you're in, but I think with Netflix, I think it would be really good for me specifically because I just never know what to watch at any given point. So if that feature ever becomes a thing permanently, I'm here for it. But moving on to other not so good stuff. Last week we spilled on companies being questionable. Guess what, girls? Companies are still being questionable. So over this past week, this marketing agency has a terrible name, by the way, for a marketing agency. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Ogilvy. I don't know how to pronounce that, girl. It's Ogilvy. Send help.
Ogilvy?
Ogilvy?
Yeah.
Ogilvy?
As a marketing agency, I would be like, girl, I'm not hiring them. They have the most terrible name. Like, what do they know about branding?
Right. That's not something that you can just like. It doesn't roll off the tongue,
Right.
you know.
But you know,
I thought it was just the company like owner, like, and they were just referencing the company owner instead of like the actual brand. I was just like, when I found out it was the actual company, I was like,
yeah.
Oh, you're like, wait, this is questionable.
yeah.
But anyway, that brand, they tweeted a video of their latest marketing campaign demonstrating how apparently their latest client was Burger King, and they demonstrated how the campaign worked. And what they did was they donated money to streamers. And for people who don't know this, because you may be from YouTube or you may be like listening to this on a podcast service, essentially when live streamers on Twitch and even YouTube and other platforms of live streaming, people usually have a thing where people can send them money through tips and donations. And some of those folks have notifications so that you can send a message with the tip or with the donation or whatever it might be. And the problem is they used that as a way to promote Burger King. So for example, they would send a $5 donation to a random streamer and it would say like, for $5, you can get something at your local Burger King. And when the video came out on Twitter, some people thought it was staged. Some people thought it was just like a prototype or a demo for like a future campaign, but it was something that actually happened. So I actually did some research, and Kotaku actually talked to some streamers, and I have a quote from Ross O'Donovan, and he said, quote, "I was just minding my own business. I had no idea what was happening. I assumed it was some viewer shit posting, so I didn't stop them. Advertisements also have to be disclosed. Doing that through someone's platform without first contacting them is disgusting. I honestly think this should be investigated by the FTC." Side note, the FTC has to do with like people properly disclosing sponsorships and affiliateships and partnerships and all that stuff. Continuing with the quote, "They should be held accountable. I'm shocked anyone greenlighted this." Kotaku also reached out to both Burger King and this marketing agency whose name I cannot pronounce. Neither of them commented. Neither of them cared to provide any sort of statement when it came to this campaign. Obviously, live streamers are outraged by this, to say the least. Some of the general opinions have to do with how this is exploitative, because obviously you didn't agree to promote something on your stream, and again, it potentially goes against FTC laws and regulations, so that should also be looked into. Twitch did say something about this, how they, as much as they want to work with brands and as much as they have a working relationship with a lot of them, this is basically not approved by them. Like, this is not their responsibility. They didn't approve of this. They weren't responsible for this campaign. And I say this because in the past there has been like brands that were kind of working with Twitch, and they kind of had a thing where they would sub gift a bunch of streamers random subs, and people were like, is this in partnership with Twitch? Is this not? Like, I remember there was a Subway situation. There were even like emotes or something that happened. But this one is not organized by Twitch, so Twitch was like, not here, we did not do that. So what were your initial reactions as you saw this take place? Oh, and by the way, I just need to clarify something as well. The video that they put on Twitter, this is some high-level trickery that they did. They took streamer webcams, they pixelated the webcams, they voice changed the streamers, and they chose specifically streamers that had a simple layout so that they could crop out the game that they were playing and put a copyright-free game in the background. Like, if you notice, all the games that they posted on that video, none of them like were actual games. So they were like removing the voice from the creator, blurring their faces, replacing their backgrounds with like a copyright-free situation so we don't get in trouble. This is a lot. So what did y'all think? What did you think, Smalzsy, when you first saw this go down?
Well, the first thing I saw was a retweet from someone just saying, this ain't it. And I was like, okay. I watched it and I was just like, the first thing I noticed was like, what are these games? Like, that was my initial reaction. I was just like, what are they playing? Like, I didn't even care about the ad. I was just like, what are they playing? Like, it just looked awful. And then I was just like, at the end I was like, okay, this is not right. Like, you know, because you know, my first instance was the hashtag, you know, sponsored is hashtag ads on these streams. Like, you know, have they, like, is this a setup? Like, have they got actors for this? Like, you know, what have they done? And then I was looking around and I actually found a video by the Ross that you mentioned. He put up a video about earlier today, basically like recounting like what happened for him, and then I don't think he was featured in the video.
No, I think they cut him out of the video.
In the video. Yeah. So they actually, like, he was on his stream and he was looking at it, and they actually found one of the streamers that was involved in the video, and they found the VOD from that day of that streamer's like thing, and they were like, yeah, it just, the whole thing was just, it was done so wrong. It was done so just dirty. It was just like, it was like, come on, you would know that you have processes you've got to go through. You would know, like, you know, this, you're then making the advertisement happen on someone else's stream. And that's the other thing. Like, you go into a stream and you are like promoting your content, promoting your business. Yeah. Like, that is not something you do without permission. And to just go in there and, you know, say hi.
Right.
$5? You want this?
Yeah.
Want this? Maybe you should buy a burger with it. No.
Absolutely not.
You know?
And like, they took clips from people who took it pretty nicely. They were like, oh, I guess I'm gonna take the $5 and I'm gonna get me a burger. I would have cussed them out so much they wouldn't be able to use any of my content. I would be like, get the fuck out of here. Thank you for the money, but this ain't it, girl.
Yeah.
Chalora in chat did mention that Twitch had a situation with Coke. They were giving people random donations and stuff. But I think the difference is, like, there's a difference when someone, like, if Twitch puts out a post and they're like, hey, during the next few days, we have a thing with Coca-Cola, and they're gonna be giving people random sub gifts, and you can get their emotes and whatever it is. Because you're a Twitch streamer, it's kind of like agreed almost. Like Twitch doesn't need my permission to do that kind of thing, if that makes sense. But by you streaming during those days, I guess, you're kind of like, okay, this could happen, so at least you know. But it wasn't even like the Burger King account or anything. From what I understand, it was like they just had a random name called like King of the Stream, or like it's just like a weird ass name. So the people were like, is this a thing? Like, are people, because this could very easily be like a copy pasta or something, you know what I mean? Like, that's why Ross was even saying like, I didn't know if they were just shit posting, so I just didn't know what to do. And then like months later, because apparently this happened throughout the last couple of months, then he goes on Twitter and he sees this and he's like, what is going on? I hate it. But yeah, what were your initial reactions, Ruin?
So I think it's very comparable to what's happening right now with Hyperscape. Like, girl, people are like, they're giving us, gift subs, or they're subbing, and we're getting these ugly emotes. Like, sorry, Twitch, but like, I said it the other night on stream. I was like, these are ugly ass emotes, girl. I mean, I got the crown, I won. That's all really I wanted.
Well,
but like someone said, like $5. Like,
right.
Girl, I get the gag, like, but I think I want a little bit more than that. Like, DM me afterwards and be like, hey, like, thanks for, entertaining this. Here's like a coupon or a claim or whatever that you can get like a free meal. It's honestly going to be like a free small meal because these companies are fucking cheap as shit.
Right.
Sorry, I don't mean to cuss.
You can cuss here. Fuck, okay, shit,
good. Fuck. But like, you got the money, girl. Like, you got the money. $5. What the hell is $5?
Right.
So, I mean, I guess you had mentioned my next point, but I was like, if Twitch didn't really Twitch just needs to know like how to handle this a little bit more, and I hope they really take the steps beforehand. But I mean, Twitch is also not in the best of spots either, because I mean, this has been discussed in this podcast before, where like people who are in their clip reels, they're not even asked to be in their clip reels. And so like, I just think, Twitch also has very questionable marketing tactics as well. And that's I mean, true. You all can sit there and say like, oh, you signed up for this once you became an affiliate, once you became a partner, like your content is their content, blah 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 blah. But like, it's just questionable. It just makes it very, very questionable. And honestly, I don't think these companies realize how much marketing power they truly have on the internet, especially through something like Twitch, especially when you look at like YouTube, which YouTube has become unbearable unless you have their premium service, because of the amount of ads that you can get watching a video. And if you're watching a longer video, you can expect 2 ads probably at the beginning, 2 ads in the middle somewhere, and probably 2 ads at the end. That's 6 ads. That's a lot of fucking ads. Like, I canceled YouTube for a month, and I was like, I can't do this. I cannot do this. The amount of ads it's too much. Absolutely too much. And then I think during quarantine, these companies started realizing a little bit more about with marketing. Like, they hired a whole bunch of gay interns during the pandemic, and the gay interns went in during quarantine, y'all. These companies were fighting. It was Bad Girls Club up on Twitter. Like, these gay interns just went in. They had their memes on check, girl. Like, they did really good. And it sucks because they're all gonna lose their jobs here in a few months, like once everything clears up, if they clear up. But no, I don't know. I don't care for it. I don't care for it. I don't care for this Hyperscape thing right now. I watched that and I was like, girl, like, I thought it was fake. I thought it was another video for like, what's that video game coming out, Gamer Girl or whatever.
Oh my god.
Mod.
Not this.
I thought it was some shit like that.
I think the thing I saw in the ad though was like, someone was like, okay, but are you gonna sponsor me though? And they like the screen flashed up. It's like, we just gave you $5. And it's like no, like, I want the sponsorship. If you're gonna be advertising on my channel, I'm not going to buy a burger. Like you're not giving me pennies to go buy a burger with.
Right.
Like you're gonna give me money.
Exactly.
Like,
I think we have discussed the Twitch situation. We actually had Jeff on the stream when he was recently, Jeff Brutlag, a friend of the show, he's been on a previous episode, the same week where he actually got featured in a Twitch video without even knowing about it. And then Glenn is also speaking up about it, how he got featured in the Pride video without knowing. And we did talk about it and how Twitch should at least give people a heads up, like, hey, we're putting together this video. We might use this clip. Is this okay? Like, just, you know, or even just telling you, like, hey, we're going to do this. Just be ready for it. It's going to go live at this time or whatever. The only positive thing I can say in comparison is that at least Twitch shows the person and shows their, like, username. With this, like, it was the dirtiest scheme of, like, they specifically targeted streamers that had a simple overlay where they could easily crop out the gameplay. They could easily, like, blur the streamer's face and change their voice, not show, like, who it was, like, because they knew it was shady. They knew they couldn't do it without the streamer's permission. And it really bothered me as well, like the tone of the video, like, thank you streamers, or like whatever. And it's like, fuck off. Like, no, like, this is not, like, no, don't do this. And I think the also there was another tone of like, look at our amazing marketing technique, like, because they're a marketing agency, they were like, look at what we did for our latest client. Isn't this amazing? Like, no, girl, you're literally, like, it's illegal for you to do that. You cannot do that. So, like, boo-boo the fool. Act the fool, girl. Like,
Literally, we're like, we're putting this in our portfolio right away so we can send this to all the other companies to show them what we did. So because we know the power of Twitch and Twitch streamers and all this stuff. Girl, get that portfolio out that far of a fucking face, diva. What the fuck? If I was a marketing professional and they brought that shit to me, I'd be, get shit out of here. Like, what the fuck? You're not gonna, if you have to show blurred faces, it's wrong. It's already wrong. If you have to blur and lower people's voices, it's wrong. Like, you obviously do not have the permission to use this content. So, like, they should have known from, isn't that marketing 101?
right.
Get permission. Get permission. Like, it's so idiotic. It's just so completely idiotic. I'm getting angry again. Last time I got angry, I was on here, and now I'm getting angry again.
And I wonder if Burger King even had any say in this, because with some of these companies, they probably just send something out like, hey, we want you to do a thing for us. And I wonder if they even had any say. And it's not that I'm trying to protect Burger King, because, like, who gives a shit? Like, they're not, you know, like, whatever. They'll be fine. But yeah, it was really kind of disgusting, to be honest. And it goes alongside this idea of, like, brands realizing the power of, like, social media, especially now during the pandemic. They're realizing that, like, oh, people are making money on these platforms. Oh, they have a text to speech sort of thing. Let me utilize that to promote my brand. It is a smart thing. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say, wow, they're so dumb in doing that. Like, no, girl, like, we're talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. They got their promo on every single person's stream when they did it. So it was clearly a marketing campaign that, for better or worse, got people talking about them. So at the end of the day, it was a smart decision. Was it scummy as hell? Yeah. I do think this goes along, though, with the conversation of, like, live streamers and our value, because a lot of the times when it comes to people wanting to work with us, like, I will say this, like, I've had opportunities where I've had, like, people, or through, like, websites, be like, okay, get this game for free and stream it. Like, okay, but, like, I'm not gonna pay my bills with that game, and I'm technically promoting your game for free. Like, you know, like, they don't require you, when a company gives you a free game, they don't require you to put a link in chat. They don't require anything like that. But at the end of the day, you are promoting their stuff. Am I saying you shouldn't accept any of that? That's on you, you know, like, because you may be on a budget and you may be like, you know what? in order for me to make money on the platform, I need a game to stream, and this is a fairly new game. They're giving the game for me for free, and I can make money off of this. You know, on the other side, there are websites and there are places where you can get paid to promote a game. In that case, but then again, they always try to like make you, like, they always try to pay you as less as possible. Like, I've had deals where, and I can be totally transparent about this, where because of my viewer average at the time being like 10 viewers, they were like, we'll pay you $10 and you're gonna stream this game for an hour and you're gonna promote it for an hour. And I was like, sure, I'll take that. At least I'm not just getting a free game, you know, like. But at the same time, it's like you almost look back at it and you're like, damn, I should have like I'm promoting them, and for better or worse, people are clicking on their website. People are like, maybe some folks are buying the game, but when you're, you know, when you have like a 10 average viewership sort of situation, you're like, someone is willing to give me money, you know, like they do take advantage of stuff like that. They're like, you know, hey, at least we're giving you money. There are other occasions where, and this is, I'm talking about indie developers. There's this website where a bunch of indie developers can put their games in there, and you basically can bid to like promote their game, and you're like, I will stream your game for this amount of money for this amount of minutes, and they can either say yes or no. Problem is, they usually say no if you're trying to charge too much. So like, I got a deal one time where I was literally like, I did that thing of like $10 for like an hour or something, or whatever it was, and they said yes. But like, for some of them, I try to do that and they're like, oh no, like that's too much. Like, they don't say that, but they decline it. So I'm like, okay, like, for all intents and purposes, I am giving you free promo, and you know, just like the free game is not all that, you know, we look forward to. Like, okay, cool, but I can also just like play an old game. There's plenty of companies, like we talked about Epic Games, for example. They every like other week they have free games on there, girl. Like, you know, like, for better or worse, you can always get free games somewhere legally, obviously.
Yeah.
So
That's true. That's very, very true.
yeah, but have you had situations where you either were presented with a not so good deal or situation when it came to streaming, or you felt like, oh, I should charge more for something, but I don't feel like I should do that? Or as Chalora is causing chaos in chat, and both of my guests are like cracking up. But yeah, have you ever been in that sort of situation where you're like, I don't think this free game is enough, but I'm gonna do it anyway because it's an opportunity? ? Like, has that been a thing for you, Ruin?
I have, I'll be perfectly honest, I've never been approached by anyone for any types of sponsorships or free games or anything, and, you know, I'm okay with that. I am literally at ease. Like, to add another game to my library at this moment, it's not the tea for me, Diva. Like, I'm absolutely fine with that. Am I open to the idea? Oh yeah, I'm definitely open to the idea. But I think the biggest problem that would be with me is that, like, I kind of know my worth, okay? Like, I make well above the minimum wage here in the US, and like, I'm not here to make money. That's the other thing,
Right.
you know. So I guess I would, you know. If they want me to play it, I guess, like, you know, it would be a way to start building my streaming career. But I think I'm a little bit too messy for companies to mess with.
You would be surprised. I mean, companies do actively work with, like, you know, racists and people that are very problematic. So, you know, I feel like you saying a couple cuss words here and there is not a huge issue.
That's very true.
But yes,
Very true.
what about you, Smalzsy? As you sip your dose of tea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was a bit taken aback.
I wasn't ready.
Yeah, no, I have been approached, and it was odd. I was like, is it real? Is it real? Like,
That's the first thought. Like,
what's going
I'm
on?
being
Yeah.
scammed.
I was like, am I getting scammed? And then, like, I looked at it and I was like, okay, I looked at the game in question. I was like, not super loving it, but we could see what's going on. Like, we could talk about it. And then I got into the thing, and then yeah, the the amount for the game and for like I think they wanted 3 hours, and I was like, if I'm not loving your game in the first half hour, I ain't gonna sit here and pretend that I'm gonna be loving it for the
Yeah.
next, little while. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know about that one. So, it wasn't. Yeah, I didn't do it. But yeah, and that's the thing. Like, yeah, it's like I don't know. I'd be tempted to if I could be critical about the game. If I
yeah.
could say I could say my real opinions instead of like having to sit there and go, I'm loving this. Please download
Right.
it right now. Like, go out and get it. You don't want to miss it.
For the
Like,
link. Like, follow the link.
Yeah.
For everyone, thank you.
like
Yeah.
if I could be critical about it and like
Mhm.
if it's worth the experience, yeah. But from what I've seen and what what they offer, not for me.
Yeah. For me,
Maybe it's a maybe thing.
yeah, no, I get you. Like, for me, because I've been on the platform on Twitch specifically for 4 years. Of course, like in the beginning, I was like, "Oh yes, a free game, sure. Let me go above and beyond." And like even like they didn't ask me to promote it, but I would be like, "Yes, get this game. Aren't they amazing?" Because they gave me a free game to play on stream. Um, but I think now it's like a point where I kind of use that system to also kind of benefit from it, if that makes sense. And what I mean by that is like, for example, if there's a new game coming out, I will shoot my shot. I'm like, girl, that game is like $60. I'm gonna try and get it for free, and because I was gonna play it anyway on stream, so I'm just gonna try to get it for free. Also because I think some companies don't necessarily have sponsorships when it comes to like Twitch affiliates versus Twitch partners. Um, so for me, I do feel odd going out of my way to like contact like community manager or whatever and be like, hey, can you get me a key for this game, but also pay me to promote it? Like I think that's a little bit where you kind of may cross the line a little bit. But I think I've reached a point where I either get paid or I propose like a bid or something for be like, hey, I want to play this game and I will charge this amount of dollars. And if they say yes, then lovely. If they say no, then whatever. Like I'll eventually get with someone that that will work with me and pay me what I deserve and what I'm worth. And that's kind of the other thing of like that's why I'm okay with like having partnerships rather than sponsorships, because that's less of like a commitment. Like for example, I work with Grinding Coffee CO and I am a partner with Humble Bundle, for example. We don't really have much of like a deal. Like they don't have to pay me a certain amount. I don't have to promote them all the time. We don't have this kind of situation where I always have to be speaking about them. It's more like if I do promote them and people buy stuff using my link, I get a percentage out of it, kind of thing. Like it's more of an affiliate partnership kind of situation. So it's not like people are paying me and actively being like, hey, you have to like represent our product and we have to like do this thing for this amount of time, like you signed this contract and all that shit. Like that's not really what's going on. But I would love to have that sort of situation in the future because it's more reliable than depending on like donations or subscriptions or people's availability or however much they can afford to support me. So it is a thing that can happen. We're having some technical difficulties with our Discord.
I fell.
It's all good. It's all good. Do not even worry about it. Smalzsy is gonna get back to us in a little bit, hopefully sooner rather than later. We love to see it. It's the Australian internet, y'all. It's the Australian internet. It happens.
Must be using the microwave.
Yes, it can happen, but we could get into some Q&A action right now since we're getting towards the end of the show. So we do have already a question, but if you're watching this live on Twitch, you can send us questions through the channel redemption in the chat, so it's easier to keep up with them. So our first question today is from Shane445, and their question is, how long have you all known each other for? And I can start with this one because I'm kind of new to this friend group. So for me, I don't know necessarily when I started being mutuals with Ruin and Smalzsy. I don't know exactly when that started. But we were mutuals for a while, and then it eventually... and then we eventually, like, I reached out to one of you, and then you were on the show, and then, like, that's when we started, like, chatting more and stuff like that. So not that long ago for me. Like, I've known of them for a while, for like maybe a few months, but it's been like a few weeks since I would consider them friends. But what about y'all? How long have you two known each other?
I met Smalzsy. It's been like over a year now, which is like crazy to think
Aw.
of because like I feel like it was literally just yesterday and we met in another streamer's stream. Sorry. We met in another streamer's stream and like the reason why we started talking to each other is that we started making like really bad wig puns about Star Wars. And like we were just going back and forth. Like the streamer at one point just stopped reading our chats because like we were just shooting back and forth at each other with
I can't.
these terrible wig puns. And then we like followed each other on Twitter, and then like we just started sending each other like memes, and then like just have been like inseparable since. Like we literally talked
Aw.
like every single day. I mean, we still do talk every single day. We say at least good morning or good night to each other, and send each other like some kind of meme. So I'd say like over a year. It's been over a year,
Yeah.
and I only
Yes.
judge that because of how long Smalzsy has been subscribed to my channel.
Hey, that's a really good way of keeping track. Listen.
Yeah, it's
you
like,
got-
how long have you been friends with Ruin? I'm like, can you just wait until my subscription like renews and I'll tell you.
well, it depends. Like, I considered him a friend ever since he started giving me money. So, no. We have another question from Glenn Angel, our lovely guest from last week. And he asked, what was something that contributed to your decision to start streaming? Ooh, Smalzsy, how did you get started with streaming?
Well, how did I get started? I I don't know. I think I'd watched a bunch of Twitch. Like Twitch was something that like I spent a lot of time on. And I I'm really into like the arts and like performing and stuff like that. And I was like, what if I like went on here, I could, put myself out there. Like I live in a very small country town. I'm not really like don't have like an accessible like way to like use a creative outlet. Like we have like a town arts community like committee, and we do like one show a year for one night, and that's it. Like so you work and work and work for 8 months, and then you, well, maybe not 8 months, it's a little dramatic, but you work and work and work for all
That's
this
I was
time, and
like,
then you
damn, that's a really long time.
You dramatic?
we're a
I
very
could
bad arts
never.
group, don't you worry, we're gonna
It'd be the best fucking show. Everybody better fucking know their lines. Everybody better know the harmonies. You better know everyone else's blocking, girl. Like the director doesn't even have
Yeah.
to be there at that with 8 months, y'all. God dang.
it's a one-man show, and I've just got to get all the parts down. It's all right.
That's why you
8
need
months for a
that much time,
show.
girl.
A month per character. I got to get them all in. It's all right,
All the outfit changes. You got to
Yeah.
coordinate all of it.
Oh my
yes,
God.
I get it.
Exactly. But yeah, I was like,
High School Musical.
oh my god, I mean, but like I was like, yeah, I'd love to like try this and see if I could put myself out there as like I honestly like wanted to start as like a character and like bring sort of like a character, and then I was like, what? I'll just try it as me and see how it goes. And yeah, I've just found that I really, really enjoyed just being a clown on the internet.
Truly.
We love to
Yeah.
see it. We love to see it. And how long have you been streaming?
I've been streaming for math. 15 months. something around there, I think. Yeah. So, yeah.
Not
a
you
little bit
being
now,
that
but-
mommy that is like, my kid is
She's
13
12
months
She's
old.
13 months.
Like, girl, just say 1 year.
I've been streaming for 436 weeks.
Yeah. 23 days and 46 hours. 46 hours, because that's many in the day.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's over.
canceled.
I personally started streaming in 2016, and just a quick answer to that, because I probably have talked about this in previous episodes or even on my streams, but for me, I started on YouTube and I really liked doing it, and it was my only option, to be honest. Like, I would film stuff on my, like, an old camera, and then I upgraded, quote unquote upgraded, to my phone at the time, and then I would just, like, I had a terrible laptop at the time, so it would take me so long to, like, render a video and edit a video, so I obviously couldn't even attempt to stream on that old thing, but it did get me by for a while, and then after a little bit, I was a part of like the Minecraft community. I used to like make like Minecraft videos and stuff like that, and then
What?
yeah, oh yes, and then like I remember, like, I would get into like the multiplayer servers, and then there was a YouTuber that had a server, and then there is a Twitch staff of the name 8-Bit Dylan, and at the time he was also like a Minecraft YouTuber, and he would also stream. And that's like he introduced a bunch of YouTubers at the time that were doing Minecraft to Twitch, and they would like stream like maybe like once a month or something. But Dylan was very consistent. He was like the one that was like all about streaming, and I was like, I want to do that, because like with YouTube, you don't really get much of an interaction, especially when you're a quote unquote smaller creator, because you don't get a lot of comments sometimes when you get started. You just get viewership, and you're like, when you get viewership, you know, but you don't really get much of that interaction. With Twitch, you can log in and you can have one viewer, and that viewer may be someone who chats with you, you know? So that's how I was like, I love the idea of just like being live, not editing a video, and just like doing my thing for a little bit, and then, you know, going off about going with the rest of my day and doing whatever. So then I eventually I was able to upgrade and all that stuff, and that's why I started streaming, because I just like seeing other like queer people streaming on the platform, and made me wanna jump on in and come on board, and I have since 2016, and it's been lovely. What about you, Ruin? What led you to live streaming?
I don't really even know. Like, it was just an idea I had. I was just like, I think, well, so I watched Drag Trashly on YouTube, and like she was like, "Oh, I'm on Twitch, like come watch me live." And I was like, "Okay." So like I went to her channel and she wasn't live, and then I saw Chalora streaming.
Aww.
And I was like, oh, okay, like let me watch, you know, this person streaming this really cute game, which we will not mention. And like I just started talking to her, and like she was talking to me, she was answering all my questions. I was like, yeah, I think this is great. And then, you know, so I say like Chalora was probably like a bit of an influence, because I was like, I mean, this seems like fun. She's having fun playing this game, and she's talking to all these different people. I think I would want to do this too. And so like I brought the idea up to a few people, and they're like, you should do it for sure. And I was like, okay. So I just like started doing it. I just started doing random, you know, things. Like my first streams were a mess, but I've only been streaming for a little bit over a year as well. So, and we didn't finish answering the question, the last question, Ruby, is that I think we've known each other for a few months now. Because I remember Chalora was, I think Chalora either told me or she was promoting when she was going to be on your show, and I came by and I really liked the vibe and the conversation that was happening, and that's when like I started following you, and then we just became more, I think, interactive with each other over the course of time, and then as you said, like you kind of you got into our friend group, and then I think that's I think that's when like all of the conversations started happening between all of us. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's been like I'd say less than 6 months, but maybe about 6 months for that,
Yes.
for how long we've known each other.
This year has been such a like weird situation that I'm like 6 months. Like it almost feels like it was like so long ago now because of
Yeah,
that.
truly.
Um,
It's been 84 years.
yes. So we have a question from Chilora. Speaking of, she asked, in the world famous group YRP, for people who don't know, this is from Final Fantasy X-2, Yuna, Riku, and Pain. Who would each of you be? Okay, are either of you familiar with Final Fantasy X-2 and these three characters?
Yes, I know Yuna, and I would probably say Yuna because she's just really pretty and really flowy, and I don't know, I like being really flowy. I like flowy things. And like
Yes.
my friend all the time, she like talks about my hands, and she's like, I just love your hands because they're like they're just I don't know, and I'm just like, it's kind of weird, girl, but like, okay, like you can like my hands. So I'd say, because I mean, I just think of that video, when she's like singing and it's like giving the gays what they want, you know?
Yes.
So I would say definitely Yuna.
Absolutely.
That's her, right?
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
kind of bob cut that comes out. Yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah.
her then. I would say
That's what I would say as well. So Yuna is more of like, she is the leader. She's more calm and collected, and she's also like kind of a pop star in Ten-2. And then there's Riku, who is like the more like cheerful. She's always like having a good time. She's kind of like, I would say Smalzsy would be Riku, like just like always having a good time, always like making everyone laugh and having a good time. By default, I would be Pain, but she's kind of like the edgy girl, and she's like always like in a mood, and she's always like, it's none of your business, which is kind of like I feel like I have a resting bitch face. So like, I feel like that's how sometimes I may come across, because I'm also like just a little opinionated, and sometimes that comes across. Comes across as like maybe like bitchy, or maybe like as someone who has an attitude, so yes, I think in this specific scenario, and I'm also wearing black, so I'm the emo girl of the day.
Oh, she's emo today, Your Honor.
Are y'all oh yeah, you're comfortable talking about relationship stuff, but Shane has asked, simple yes or no, are y'all in relationships? No. I'm not. These two are.
Yes. Yes.
And that's that on that.
Yeah.
GM asked, what is a piece of media / art, music, movies, etc. you think is underrated and people should check out? Something that is underrated. Ooh,
Oh god.
I don't know about underrated, because like I usually, like, I don't like to use the term underrated because I almost feel like I'm diminishing the person or the piece of media, or like just because your group of friends isn't talking about it doesn't mean that it's underrated. It just means like maybe you're just in a different circle or something. But I think there's a lot of games. I can't really tell you like a bunch of them right now, but I know like sometimes when I'm putting together a list of games that I want to play, I'm like, ooh, I don't know if people would care about that one, just because it's not popular or because people don't really recognize that game too much. But off the top of my head, I don't really have something that I'm like, oh yes, y'all need to check this out because it's super underrated. Yeah, like, no, I don't really know off the top of my head like something right now.
Smalzsy, do you have something?
I mean, like, I'm reaching for like anything here, but I mean, y'all kind of let art pop flop.
Don't you dare!
Kind of, it kind of flopped.
Album.
listen.
I'm just saying.
Y'all let it flop. You know what else you let flop? Hillary Duff single Sparks. Okay,
Tea.
y'all
Yes.
let it
Tea.
flop on the ground
Tea.
like a fish out of water. Okay, you gays did her wrong.
Glory by Britney Spears. Suddenly we have a bunch of answers, girl. But Glory by Britney
Suddenly we're
Spears.
speaking up.
Like sometimes I'm like, Alexa, play Change Your Mind, and people are like, who, what, when? I was like, girl, it's Britney, bitch. No.
It's Britney, bitch.
Don't you do it. But she kind of got justice for Glory there, She even re-uploaded the album. She was like, new album. I'm like, no, you just added the Japanese extra track, girl. But we'll take that because it's on Spotify now, which is lovely. And the new cover is killer. But I'm like, okay. Leak the other tracks.
Do it, girl. We know you got the girl.
Ooh, girl.
Yeah.
I would say a few months ago, I would say Rina Sawayama because I don't feel like enough people were listening to her. So I would say Rina Sawayama. If you haven't listened to her album Sawayama, like you need to do it. It's honestly one of the best albums I've probably ever listened to since Born This Way. Besides Lizzo's "Cause I Love You." I mean, and these are years apart from each other.
Right.
So, I mean, these are, to me, they're simply great albums. And then I would also say, that what's underrated or what's not appreciated enough is a lot of classical musicians throughout quarantine and all of this have put out a lot of amazing content that I don't feel like people are watching or I don't feel like people are appreciating. If you want a specific, I can't say it right now. It's not coming to my head at the moment, but they have put out, a lot of great content. And I think you should be listening to more classical music. And if you're not, then you need to hop on that because it's good. If you sleep, you sleep. I fall asleep.
And you would be surprised at how many how much pop music samples stuff from classical music. So you probably have heard some of those melodies and some of those harmonies before in your faves. I just thought of two artists that are very underrated. One of them is Tinashe. She just recently gone the independent route. She's really, really talented. Another one is Dawn Richard, and she used to be on Danity Kane, which underrated group by its own. But by herself, she is killing it. She is and I say that not because she gets a lot of recognition, but I say that because she genre hops a lot. One day she does a dance track, one day she does R&B, one day she does electronic. She's really, really freaking talented, and not enough people support her. And both of these artists are women of color. I wonder why not enough people support them. You fucking racists.
Get up on it. Get up on it.
But yes,
Pull them out.
do y'all have any others, or can we move on to our next question?
I said what I said.
I said what I said.
I said what I
service
said.
Question.
Yes, we have a couple more. So this next one is from Valley the Vampire, and her question is, if you could have any animal in the world as a pet, what would you pick? Girl, I just want a dog. Honestly, I'm not picky, girl. I just want a dog.
Get anything in the world, girl?
I'm afraid of animals. They're too unpredictable, girl. They will eat me in my sleep. No meow. No meow.
I don't know,
No, me.
girl.
Actually, a penguin would be really cute.
I was gonna say that. I love penguins.
I relate with penguins a lot because they're very fucking clumsy and they just look funny.
Yeah. Yes, that would be me for sure. A penguin. I would have to say penguin. I love penguins.
Yes.
I would say what are they?
A spider?
No, like a red panda. A red panda.
Oh.
A pet spider, girl. I got pet spiders all in my room. What do you mean?
She's in Australia, girl. She doesn't. She accidentally has pet spiders all the time.
I just happened to be here.
I would love like any panda, really. Just like pandas are so freaking
Yeah.
adorable. Suddenly I have all the answers. She only wanted a dog at first, and now she wants a whole fucking zoo.
What is with this? We get your brain working, and you're like, actually, I do have answers.
Actually, yes.
Yes, she is a bitch. A B-I-C-H.
Yes.
It's just like that argument where like they're like, "What's wrong?" And you're like, "Nothing," but then you got like 30 ideas of what's wrong in the back of your head. But it's just like, "What's your opinion, Ruby?" "Oh, nothing."
I just find it funny how.
I just find it funny.
Or like people ask, "How are you doing?" And then there's that pause before you say good, and like between that pause, you're just thinking of all the things that are not so good, and you're like, just say good. Just say good.
Just say talk, girl. Just say talk. Or like how white
I'll
people
just take a
always
dog.
say,
That's the
living the life. Oh, how you doing? Living the life. You know, and they have to say it super, super sarcastic. Living the life.
Girl, you
diva.
just showered. Okay, you woke up. Angela
Still
has
here.
a really good question here. Not that the others weren't, but this is like kind of like a juicy. Not like juicy, but you know, I feel like some people would be curious about this. And Angela asked, any pre-stream routines? Because this is obviously something that people don't get to see. This is what's happening while we have that. The stream is starting soon, girl. Like we have that screen up being like, the stream is starting soon. I will say mine depends on the day. Like today, she was prepared. An hour before the stream, I had the screen, I had everything set up, I had the tweet ready, I had everything ready. So I was just like sitting here, I let one song play, and then I just came on here, and then I forgot that I had other things to set up that I didn't. But usually...
Wait a minute. I was cleaning hell for a minute there. Okay, I was cleaning hell for a minute. Okay, so we got tiny salad over there. So
Well, she's been called out. But no, on a regular day, unfortunately, I'm just like scrambling to I'm taking my selfies on the spot to put on Twitter. Sometimes I forget to change the category, and I'm changing it as my stream already started. No, I don't really. Yeah, my pre-stream routine is basically like make my coffee. I tweet that I'm live. I describe what I'm doing, and I put up my green screen, all that stuff. Like usually not a lot of pre-stream stuff. What about y'all?
Smalzsy.
Yeah, I have a little routine. I mean, like I like to usually I'm just like I'm not organized, but I like to think in the
Same.
the 5-minute crunch before I hit the go live button. I have a set.
Relate so much.
Yeah.
The
I'm just
5
like,
minutes
"Alright,
before you
5
go
minutes,
live, girl."
Let's go. Let's do it. So I'm like, I get here, I sit here, I set up, I pour my I pour my coffee, and then I clean my glasses. I put on, because you always gotta have clean glasses, you know. Gotta see the chat properly.
Mhm.
And then when you put on this big light, you're like, oh god.
Suddenly I can't see at all.
Yeah, exactly. And then what I do is I clean my glasses. I sit here. I play like 2 or 3 hype songs. I've got like a set list of like 5 songs where I'm just like,
Yes.
these are my hype songs. These are like my get ready songs. So I play like 2 of them, and then open up my dashboard, hit live, and hope for the best.
What are the high
That's it.
times?
Not hope for
I've
the
got
best.
I've got such a routine. It's like I play one song, I pour I pour a cup of coffee,
Pour a
and
cup
that's
of
it.
coffee for your head.
Cup of coffee.
Cup of coffee.
Just
for
a cup
your
of coffee, you
head.
know.
Cup of coffee, you know.
You know.
Um,
What about you, Ruin? Do you have a routine?
I typically like my desk clear, though. Like if you watch my streams, I'm always during my just chatting portion, I'm always fidgeting with shit on my desk. So like I try to keep this area as clean as possible, except for like my props. You know, I have my gavel, I have my fan, any props for the day
Yes.
that I might need.
Yes, she's
ready,
a whole
girl. She's ready.
production.
ready.
I just set up my green screen. Typically, like 5 minutes beforehand is when I start getting like a little bit more serious. Like I'll sit here, I make sure everything is set up. It also just depends on the day as well. Like if I know I'm going to be rushing in the morning, I try to like at least change my title, come up with a tweet, and get ready for that. So I can just hit live, send the tweet, all of that stuff. But there will be moments where like I'll just kind of have a day and I'll just kind of sit here. Like sometimes I'll even like press live, like go live, and I'll sit there for like 5 to 7 minutes, and I'll just like I wouldn't necessarily pray, but I'll say I'll just be thankful for this ability to do this and bring content to my friends and to whoever may be watching. I'll ask for a good stream, which I always have such fun streams with everyone that comes by, and I just kind of get in that mindset for
Not
trying.
this. Twitch
I'm
chat, it has been a full-on clownery, girl, and that's why if you're listening to this and if you hear us giggle, or if you're watching and you see like two people like randomly giggling and trying to keep it together, it's because chat has been very clownish up in here.
With professionals.
But we
can
love
keep
it.
it under the wraps.
Professionals. But like yesterday, I practiced for a few minutes before stream, and because sometimes like when I sit there for the 7 minutes, I'm like, God, this takes forever. But so I decided just to like practice for a little bit, and yeah. So it just depends on the day.
Yeah.
Clean my room. I clean my room.
The amount of times where I click start streaming, suddenly the world decides nature is calling, and I'm like, oop, and then I have to do everything from the toilet. I have to tweet from the toilet. I have to change my title from the toilet, and then I'm like looking at the time being like, oh no, it's already been 5 minutes, girl, and then I'm like rushing to make my coffee, and then next thing you know, like my starting soon screen has been up for like 10 minutes, and that's when I show up and I'm like, hi, I was just making my coffee. Meanwhile, I was like literally running around the house, getting everything prepared. And it's a fucking mess, girl. The amount of times with Breakfast at Ruby's as well, this is not the first time it happened. Literally minutes before the stream, I'm putting together the fucking document I'm like, ooh, type it away, girl. Oh, I have to go live. Click. I keep typing, girl. And
Secretary girl, secretary.
oh yes. So I am not very organized, as you know. If you couldn't tell, I'm not super organized. Our last question of the day before we move on to what we're living for these days is from Glenn Angel, and it's, if you could be any class from any MMO, RPG, etc., who would you be? I usually go with like anything like mage, because like realistically I want to be far from the battle. I want to contribute to it, but I want to be in the back row, like I don't want to be like getting slashed. I don't want to get smacked with anything. I want to be in the back and I want to do my thing. And so either like a summoner, like I would be calling upon the creatures from heaven, hell, all of the above to destroy these people or things, or definitely not a healer, because for a damn fact in real life you would have someone being like, you fucking redacted, you should have healed me, and I'm like, not this. So I would probably be just like a black mage with my gigantic ass hat, and I'll be like, fire upon your ass.
The fashion.
Yes. So either that, summoner, or like a dancer, because I would be able to shake my tits and contribute somehow. It happens. What about y'all? Who would you be?
Smalzsy.
Look, it's just anything magic here.
Yes, anything magic.
I think like anything that's pretty and magic, and I can do some fancy business. Anything like that. Honestly, just give me. Although, I mean, I would also
Yes.
possibly want the ranger type class, like live at my little a Katniss fantasy, but like,
Yes,
me in a
Katniss.
little, me in a little Cupid's bow. Could you imagine how cute that
Yes.
would be though?
Katniss
Like,
Smalzsy.
like me just running around with a little bow.
Yes.
Little tiny arrows that don't hurt. They don't do no damage. They do zero damage to anyone. They're just an inconvenience. So my class is just annoying. That's all.
Yes.
Perfect. I love that.
We
What
love
is it,
that.
the arrow to the knee or whatever?
Yeah. The arrow
Yeah.
to the knee, but it's just a tiny little like cactus needle. That's it.
You're the saboteur, You're the saboteur of the party. You're just inflicting like random like status effects on them that don't really change the course of the battle too much, but you're contributing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
Basically
helping.
that. I'm helping. It's
Doing
like
the bare
girl
minimum.
in the fucking shop, and she's like just hitting stuff with a wrench, and like it's like different shots of her doing it, and then her boyfriend was like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm helping." That's Fozzie.
That Fifth Harmony video when like they're
Fifth Harmony
performing
video.
and they're just like fucking
I was
hammering
singing
the
the
wheels, and they're like they have a cloth and they're like cleaning something. They're pouring water on this fucking like they're like
On the machinery. Yeah.
like in the background just pretending to be useful.
She's got the hammer and she's hitting the tire. Yeah.
Being real useful, girl.
What would you be, Ruin? What would you be if you were an RPG character?
I would also say probably like a magic class. Just like if we're talking specifically Final Fantasy, I'd probably say Red Mage, just because Red Mage is
Ooh.
really fashionable, and you get both, white and black magic, which I think would be
Yes.
really cool to do. So I'd say like Red Mage, but also like possibly Dancer. Like ever since I started playing Dancer in 14, I've like really enjoyed it. So. But yeah, I would say like something with magic. I don't think I could, 'cause since I'm such an indecisive person, I would probably say Red Mage would probably be the best class for me.
That's literally what I do when I have a choice to like they're like, "Hey, you can either have all the black spells and like you can destroy everyone, you have the best spells in black magic. You can have the best spells in white magic, or you can have both." I'm like, "Both. I can't choose." Yes, I'm indecisive. We already established this today, okay? It's my brand. I can't choose things, okay? It's fine. But I can choose and I can talk about what we're living for. So let's get into the things that we've been enjoying this week, the things that we've been enjoying as of lately. I will say, literally today, BTS has released a new single called Dynamite. Girl, they're doing it for the gays. It's disco, it's colorful, it's cheerful. Listen, I am here for it. The outfits, everything. Throughout the video, they reference, like, with their dancing, they reference, like, pop legends, like, and with their outfits as well. So like I saw references to the Beatles, to Michael Jackson, like definitely the Bee Gees with the sound, like very like disco, very upbeat, and it's all in English. So y'all xenophobes out there, you can listen to it. It's not in Korean. You don't have an excuse anymore. It's all in English. It's so good. Yes, that is that. And I also, being the true gay that I am playing Fall Guys. So I got addicted to it. It's borderline a problem because I'm like, I could be productive, but I could play a match of Fall Guys just to take the edge off of things. Next thing you know, it's been an hour. Next thing you know, it's been 2 hours. Next thing you know, it's 3 a.m. So, kind of struggling a little bit, but it's amazing. I've never won a crown before. I got a solid second place the other day. But yeah, it's always
You're
always a
Your
bridesmaid. Always, yeah.
No, Tiva, no.
What about y'all? What are you living for?
Let's see. I don't know. I haven't really been doing a lot this week. So, or like, there's really nothing that I'm like, gagged over. I would say like the one thing I've been doing that I've kind of introduced into my life a little bit is just like, because my work is such a drag. Like, I always talk about how terrible my work is.
Oh.
So I just like have tried to introduce like more positive energy. So like literally the other day, like while I was getting ready, like while I shaved, while I showered, I just like was saying out loud like mantras over and over and over and over. And like I have just felt like these past 2 days saying it. Like yesterday, I just felt like I was at work and I was just like, this is okay. We're on fire, but this is okay, girl. Like I'm doing my work and this is okay. And I was just like, I just felt like it was like weird because my body didn't know how to process this positive energy. So, I don't know, I'm just trying to change, like how you said earlier, like how you like, oh, sometimes when you say things, you kind of come off like bitchy or whatever. Like I feel like I also suffer from that as well, where it's just like, they don't mean to come off that way, but sometimes it just comes off that way. And so like when someone is like, hey, I have a question, I'm like, what's up? What is it? What can I help you with? I try to be a bit more positive with it.
Yeah.
So I would say like I'm kind of living this week for like my silly little mantras that have helped me. Yes, exactly that. That have been helping me get through this week.
Yes, we love that. What about you, Smalzsy? What have you been enjoying and living for?
Well, I kind of have.
Uh-huh.
I kind of have nothing. I mean, I've been living for Fall Guys.
Yes.
That's it.
She's not even living for life, Diva.
She's not even living for life. I mean, like, I'm living for, I don't. Okay, can we just let's get sad. I don't remember the last time I left the house. Okay, I have not been outside
Same.
in like a month. Like, I ain't got nowhere to be. I am just living in my bubble. So I'm living for Fall Guys. I'm living for Final Fantasy 14.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, that's it, really. I mean, I got nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, you got plenty already.
That
Like,
sounds so exciting.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, when you don't really like, you don't actively write things down as you're like, oh yes, I'm enjoying this thing. Like the only reason I kind of have things to talk about is because they're fairly recent, and also because like in the back of my mind I'm always thinking of stuff because it's my show, so I'm always like, okay, I'll probably think, oh yeah, this thing is something good to bring up for breakfast. So like I always kind of have that in the back of my mind, so it's totally understandable when I ask, and sometimes y'all are like, I don't know, I just things like, of course, like you're not actively like writing down what you've been enjoying and stuff, but yes.
Yeah, I had to remind myself as like I was typing up my notes before we started, and then like I was like, oh, I need some tea, so like I'll go make some tea, and then I was like, what am I living for this week? And then I was like, oh yeah, okay, I know what I'm living for this week. So and then I was like, okay, this is what I'm living for, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Not me internally sitting here the whole podcast going, what am I living for? What am I living for? And pulling up blanks.
Complete inner chaos for Smalzsy.
It's okay, don't worry about it. To not have an answer is totally fine, but what you should know is where people can find you, your links, your socials, any upcoming content. Ooh, my mouth did up when I said upcoming, girl. She's popping up in here.
Oh, she's juicy today, girl. She's juicy.
Always.
She's serving us lip stuff.
I cannot.
Lip on point.
Yes, Miss Crown. Where can people find you? Are you prepping for your juicy moment as well? What are you up to? What are your streams? Yes.
Moment. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes. You can find me at twitch.tv/RuinCrown. Also, Twitter, RuinCrown. If you want to follow my Instagram, I never use, you can follow The Untraveler. And what I have coming up, I have a full recital coming up next month, sometime in the second week of September, before fall officially starts. But it's going to be classical flute music, a full hour. I presented a half recital a few months ago, and everyone loved it. So I'm going to be presenting a full recital next month, as well as a Mario Kart tournament, which Project Ruby has graciously helped me with deciding on the rules. We're still playing Final Fantasy 1 through 7 by 2020. We almost beat 3 last night, but unfortunately we died, which was truly
No.
unfortunate. But
Well, it happens.
and that's it. That's all for me. That's all I really have coming up. Oh, I have to
Yes.
make a hot drinks training video, and I have to do a Just Dance stream that I was bamboozled into doing. So
Well, maybe it's what she deserves.
I hate it.
What about you, Smalzsy? What can people expect? Where can people find you on socials and all that stuff? Any upcoming content? You tell them.
Well, no, you can find me on all good socials under Smalzsy. That's SMALZSY. You can also find me in all good home gardening stores next to the ceramic mushrooms.
I thought we've been over this. I cannot.
No, you can find me on Twitch. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram under all of those good spellings. We do a lot of clownery on my channel. We've been doing a lot of Animal Crossing, a lot of Fall Guys. We're doing community nights on Thursday nights where we play games together, which is a lot of fun. A laugh.
Truly.
There is absolute chaos, but that's. It's my brand. We're also upcoming is going to be a horror game stream. I was also scammed into a stream like Ruin with the Just Dance one. We had some clownery pulled on us.
Wow.
Seems like the same people are sort of pulling the tricks on all of us. And
Totally.
I don't know if it's the problem with the community or if it's a problem with y'all seeing it happen on your friend's stream and falling for the same damn trick on your own, girl.
I didn't see Smalzsy's. So
No.
I would have known from his mistake, but I did not see it. So unfortunately, I fell for the same damn thing. I feel like we've been set up.
We have been. We may have not read the instructions on our.
Meanwhile, I was watching both
channel points
streams
properly,
like,
but we're not going to acknowledge
I think
that.
this is a good amount.
Yeah, but no, I'm excited for that. I'm mortified. I jump at alerts. I jump at a follow alert.
He really
I
does.
scream at a raid. So a horror game is going to be a journey.
A journey, yes,
can't wait for
absolutely. Just for context, what happened was there's a feature on Twitch where basically for every minute or every hour that people watch, everyone gets a certain amount of channel points. And there's a new feature where you can have like a community goal and everyone chimes in, like they can chime in, like there's a maximum that you can chime in a day. What these two didn't realize is that their community had a bunch of points prepared, and they were like, oh, just like 1,000 will do. Like, I don't think that's too much, right? Like, oh.
No. We're not that stupid, okay? We saw the buzz coming, but we were like, you know what? I think I have about 15 seconds, and the buzz was actually, right in front of us, and we just walked, in front of it. It was a Regina George moment, Yeah. But we didn't, okay, wait there a minute.
We looked before we crossed, but we were short-sighted. That's it.
I knew people had points up, and I said that. I was like, nah, I know y'all got points. I know some people probably almost got 100,000 points up in here, but you can only contribute 2,000 today. What I did not expect is every fucking person contributing 2,000 points, okay? That's what I didn't expect that. And everyone had 2,000 points, girl.
I was like, okay, like a reasonable 50,000 would be fine, because I was under the impression that you could only do it once. not every day. So when I rolled in there, it was like contributed a maximum, like, a total of 2,000. I was like, oh, but that's all you can do. And someone's like, no, you can do it tomorrow as well. And I'm just like,
Well,
well, looks like I'm not streaming for the next 30 days then. Like, I was not ready.
So
I
you
was
put 50,000?
I put 50,000. It was filled in like 2 days. I was like, you know
I
what?
put 15,000. It was done in
girl,
like less than
no.
30 seconds.
It's over from there.
I may or may not have been the one to suggest 15,000. I may or may not have been the one being like, I think that's a good amount. And like literally the moment he pressed let's start it, I was like, let's go, girls, let's do it. And within seconds, girl, we got it. So you know, it happens. But yeah, you can find me at Project Ruby on Twitter, on Twitch, and YouTube. I'm a variety content creator, spreading the queer agenda through gaming, podcasting, and singing. Girl, she does it all. She's a variety clown up in here.
A great singer.
I
Great
thank you.
singer.
Oh my god.
Oh, mama.
Not this.
Oh, my
Not that.
I-
Bing,
Well-
bada, boom, boom, boom.
My knees are still quaking from that, so let's not talk about that. But yes,
Whack, y'all.
the content that I've been up
knees.
to, if you couldn't tell, is I've been covering songs, and this month I've been doing K-pop tracks. So I'm doing Blackpink's "How You Like That," and I just started Twice as Fancy. So it's been a journey for sure. Because I'm trying to learn the dances. I'm I'm making the English and my own English version of the songs, and it's been a full journey. But I'm kind of here for it. I've been having fun, and I feel like it only gets better with like every time that I do it. So it's been a blast. So if y'all would like to follow me on any of those platforms, I would be very thankful. If you look up Breakfast at Ruby's on podcast services, you can also follow us on there. There's always 2 new people to join me every single week. I get some of my favorites, some of y'all favorites. So like we get a party up in here. It's a great time, or at least I would like to think so. But very soon I'm also going to be doing a charity stream because we've accomplished 1.5k followers on Twitch. So I'm going to be doing a 12-hour charity stream for Beirut. We're going to be raising money for Project Hope. It was not planned that the charity has a similar name as me. Don't at me about that. It was not planned. But yes, I'm gonna be raising money for that, and I may or may not have milestones that have to do with a cooking stream, with a makeup stream. So you know, if we hit some goals for charity, I will treat you with some clownery in other parts of the house, I guess. That's the takeaway.
I love it.
That's the takeaway. I'll take my clownery to the kitchen, girl. But but yes, I will see you next week with a new episode of Breakfast at Ruby's. This is a weekly show, like I said, so we'll see you next week. And if you're watching this on Twitch, let's keep hanging out, girl, because the party keeps on going. So yeah, bye everybody.